pretty good here. So welcome everybody. I'm pretty sure we're live. It looks like we're live. So here we go. I'm Ryan Robinson, one of the co-founders here at RightBlogger. I'm joined by my co-founder, Andy Feliciotti. Andy, how we doing this morning?
Pretty good. We got really foggy weather here, so yeah, it's just a beautiful day, kind of.
Yeah, a beautiful, perfect winter day in St. Louis. Nice. I
I mean,
love it.
I love fog. I love fog, so it's I think it's a nice thing. Sorry, I was bringing up the chat here, so making sure we say hi to everybody.
Yeah,
Oh,
what's up?
Matt's in the chat.
We got Matt in the chat. At least one person is here with us today. Hey, we'd love to hear from you guys. So please, if you're joining us live, pop into the chat. Tell us where you are tuning in from. If we're hanging out with you while you're working, if you're just getting your day started. I know we're a little on the earlier side for some of us here today, but let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And we super appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us as always. We're really grateful for this type of interaction we get to have with our peeps, and we get to have a lot of fun on these streams. This is often some of the most fun stuff that I get to do. I'll speak for myself. Andy, you looking forward to today's
Yes.
topic?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, let's see how the first question goes.
Nice.
Yeah. We got Barb in
Awesome.
Alaska. Wow, I'm jealous.
Yeah, good to see you guys tuning in. Oh man.
North Idaho, Vancouver, Washington. All beautiful places people are coming tuning in from.
Yes.
UK, Miami.
Nice. Whenever I complain about like rain and cold weather in Los Angeles, and then I talk to someone who lives in a place like Alaska where there's an actual winter, I'm always very humbled. So thank you. North Idaho. Yeah. Oh, this is awesome. Cool. We love to see it. Thank you guys. Now, today, the format for our live stream is a little bit different than we usually do here, where we usually teach a particular process, highlight features, show how to get the most out of the RightBlogger platform. Today, we're going casual mode. I'm going to be interviewing Andy about how he has grown his YouTube channel. We're going to be bouncing back and forth together about the ways we've grown our YouTube channels together, but we want to just get started by talking about what it has taken to grow to combined our channels around 23,000, 24,000 subscribers on YouTube at the moment. And both of us have generated revenue from businesses that are connected to YouTube and from affiliate websites that we've run over the years. And so there's a lot of really fun, interesting territory here. And one of the like top line takeaways that I wanted to drive home before we really dive into our actual conversation here is that making video content isn't as hard as it used to be. We all have these little nifty smartphones for the most part, and you can make pretty dang good content using just your phone and maybe a clip-on microphone that you can get off Amazon for $60. And so content creation with video has really become so much simpler. There's awesome editing tools and tools like RightBlogger. Let me share my screen here just real quick. Also help you to repurpose your content. And so this tool right here, the video to blog tool inside RightBlogger, is one of our most popular standalone tools. Now, the content planner, the automations, that's become the real main focus of RightBlogger, automating your entire content schedule. But we still have really powerful individual tools behind the scenes too. And so every single time we make videos and publish to our YouTube channel, we have automations that are connected to the video to blog tool and take the videos that we make and generate these SEO optimized blog posts that get automatically published to our sites. Right here, this gives us content to send out to our email newsletters. This is really kind of the automation process that we use ourselves. And this drives traffic. This helps us grow our YouTube channel by pairing it with blog content. So let me stop sharing my screen here.
And before
Let's
we
get
start, I
back.
do want to say we are
Yeah.
working on the ability to pull screenshots from the actual YouTube video and putting them in the article when you generate it, because I think that's something that a lot of people have been looking forward to.
Yes, that's a top request. But yeah, I'm stoked for our convo today. Now, As usual, we get tons of questions during these live streams, and they're always really fun to go down the rabbit hole with you guys. So please, if you have a question about what we're talking about today, video marketing, growing YouTube channels, connecting that to driving revenue for your business, that's our real main focus of our conversation today. But there is no wrong question. There's no right or wrong time to ask it. Ask it when you have your question. Pop it into the chat, and towards the end of this conversation, we'll open it up to more of a clear Q&A session where you can ask Andy anything you want about video marketing too. And he's going to be honest, he's going to pull the curtain back and tell the real behind the scenes stuff that actually plays into his experience with video. So without further ado, Andy, anything you want to add before we dive into our convo today?
I did do a poll in the chat, and I see about 83% of people watching have a YouTube channel. So that's
Yes.
good to hear. You know, the first step is starting something. You know, I think the harder part is keeping those wheels going and making something at a consistent basis. And I do want to say my channel hasn't had a video in a year, so you know, I've mainly been focusing on working on RightBlogger. So you know, I'm aware of that, but I still get, you know, thousands of views a week from the videos that I've made. And that's the one beautiful thing about YouTube is you'll keep getting views. If you make a good video for years, you can get, you know, views and revenue and achieve the goals you're trying to get with your channel.
Yes. That's the probably the biggest benefit that I've seen about using or publishing content on YouTube as well, is that the life of a video is so long. And honestly, like, it works really well for SEO. YouTube helps quite a lot too with getting content that ranks on Google as well. If you've noticed in Google's AI overviews at the top of search results, oftentimes Google wants to display videos there. And so if you have a high quality video on a particular topic that your customers, your target audience has pain points around, and you pair that video with a post on your blog where the video is embedded, that's basically the secret sauce that Google and YouTube really wants to see. And YouTube, as many of us know, is the second largest search engine in the world. And so your customers are searching for help and answers on YouTube. But here we've got Andy's YouTube channel up, which you can check out on YouTube. Just Andy Feliciotti is his handle. He's got 15,000 plus subscribers, 180 videos, and quick highlight reel for Andy. Some of his videos have 100K plus views, 200K plus views, like a lot of content that's done exceptionally well. And Andy has run the gambit of publishing things like tutorials, gear reviews. He's done tours of super cool locations, particularly around Washington, D.C., where I know you've lived for like most of your adult life. And just, you have this knack for producing beautiful content that feels very relatable and very with you instead of at you, which is something I've always like really admired about your content. And
This isn't my first,
loves taking praise too.
and this isn't, yeah. This isn't my first channel also. I thought it'd be fun to just share my initial one. I was uploading American Idol clips, and those do get views, but you will get banned if you upload copyrighted clips. But that was in the really, really early days of YouTube.
Well, this gets to the first question that I had for you, man. I was going to ask, like, what do you remember the actual first video that you made and published on YouTube, even if it wasn't something where you were on camera? Like, what was your first like YouTube experience?
So it is kind of funny because you know, any old internet users in here will probably know back in the day before YouTube, it was very hard to share video. So when I was in high school, me and my friends would make, you know, stupid little videos with like a point and shoot camera, and I would put them on a site. I think it wasn't Mediafire, but it was something like that. Like, you know, to share it in our high school, would have to, you know, use some random platform like that. And I kept, I had a friend who kept saying, "Oh, you should use YouTube." And literally for like a week, I just kept typing U2 into Google, and I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about. Like, what is this platform? So that's like what I really vividly remember is like I bet if I was on at that point, I would have been really early in there. but it just makes me really laugh when I think about it in retrospect. But that's kind of like my first experience was just making videos with my friends. Just wanted to share the concept of, for me, always the concept of making something and you can put it somewhere and people can look at it. That is always, for my web design, the web apps, the videos, that's all kind of what pulls me in and really draws me in. The fact that you can create something and share it is really, the beautiful thing.
Do you remember the very first video that like you got excited about or maybe like picked up some views or you like kind of connected the dots of like, oh my God, when I share something on the internet, videos on the internet, like people find it, people interact with me. Like we met because you made a YouTube video about a product that I built in college. And so I feel like your life has changed in many ways because of videos.
Yeah, I wish we had one of those eye stashes here just to bring up. But yeah, yeah, go in the warehouse and get one
I
of the
thought,
thousands you have.
yeah, exactly.
Um, but yeah, I don't remember like the first moment it clicked for me. I wasn't always doing photography stuff. I kind of realized that like having one core topic was the better way to go eventually. But I remember early on someone I'd always be using Reddit and communicating with people on Reddit, and somebody like from there sent me a fly swatter gun. So it's like the stupid little, the video is probably still on my channel. It's do not bring it up. It's but it's literally just me shooting the fly like shooter. And I think it has like, a couple thousand views. It might have more than that, but I was just like, oh, like you can upload something with a very basic description. I mean, I'm probably showing a product that people have not seen before or, like just looked up what it is and they're like, oh, this person has a video. And I just thought it was a funny product. So I just like made a video of like using it. And I gotta bring it up here.
I
Okay. Oh
do
no,
I do want to just
good.
show for context for everyone watching here. Awesomestufftobuy.com is the site that Andy, you've been running this for like 15 years maybe or something, something like that.
Yeah. Don't get me
And
started on how long.
and having like products up here that he just finds interesting was kind of the like genesis of this website. And over the years, this is the site that you made the iStash review about. And so when you published that video to YouTube, I reached out to you. Like that was how we kind of became friends like 10, 15 years ago originally. And so I'm very curious, to give people a glimpse behind the scenes of what this website did for you. Like at its peak, when you were publishing product reviews, when you were like really spending a lot of time and energy and effort on growing this site's traffic, like how many people were hitting this site a month, would you say?
Oh, a month of over 50,000 probably, maybe like December, November. That's really when affiliate sites crush. Like I would make over 10 grand in a month, which was really awesome, especially just from a site that I, basically had to upload some products every day. So but yeah, like it was really cranking views there, like thousands a day, like 2 to 3,000 organic visitors a day. Mainly from people looking up cool things to buy, awesome stuff to buy, things like that. That's kind of how I got into it. Is I was just bored on the internet. I looked up, I think, cool things to buy, and then I was like, oh, is the domain? I think I actually may have looked up awesome stuff to buy, and I like looked. Then I looked up the domain name, and I was like, oh, I can do this too. Like this is so easy to do.
I love that. And then yeah, once you started this site and you were publishing, product reviews, static images of stuff that you found cool, wanted to share with other people, you started to make the organic SEO thing click. Like I remember there was a time where you ranked like #1 on Google for like cool gadgets or like gadgets for guys, like a bunch of like keyword phrases that were like super crazy and competitive. And when did you start doing videos with like gear and product reviews?
So I will note for the site itself, I didn't do too many videos. Just my YouTube is my normal YouTube with my name as kind of where
Yeah.
I kind of got more in depth of like product reviews. Uh, but mostly like, I'm kind of going to pivot here, but the thing that really got me invested in YouTube is doing vlogs. Obviously in the early 2010s, I guess, or yeah, that was kind of the popular thing to do. And I really do think that is what kind of sparked my love for it or kind of pushed me to my limits. I was doing a video every day. I think I did like 30 days in a row, which, isn't really that crazy, but every day recording and then spending hours editing every night, that grind of that process and talking on camera and kind of realizing like, you know, oh, people aren't that interested in just like your normal life, like a random thing happening. Like you won't get views for that. You have to like actually figure out like a concept that's happening. So then I kind of like figured out like, okay, maybe like when I get invited to preview a museum, that's what I should be filming. And that's kind of the videos that really started to take off early on my YouTube.
Yeah, that's a really interesting pivot from doing the thing that maybe interested you, like the day in the life stuff, versus meeting more of that like interesting factor, right? Like I feel like that's what actually really clicks the most on YouTube today is having a video that is like it's got an interesting hook. It's on a topic that people are searching for education or entertainment about. And so to take this convo in that direction now, like when you're thinking about topics and things that you want to make videos about that meet some sort of search demand, how are you really formulating this? And the kind of like the background to this that I want to give everyone here is that Andy's videos on our RightBlogger YouTube channel are consistently the most successful videos on our channel. Like those are the ones that get 100K views, 50K views. Mine do not do as well when I come up with the idea and the topic. And so there is some sort of secret sauce here to choosing the topic and like making it really connect with people. So invite us into what your process looks like when you're ideating something.
Yeah. So, well, first you have to really think about the topic, you know. So like you said, educational or entertaining, that's kind of like the two groups you can really make content in. That's really what's going to do well. And if you can mix both of those, if you have a great personality and you can teach something, that's really when you can really crush. I don't think I have a mixture of both of those in my videos, but that's kind of a the first thing you want to like think about is like, is this entertaining or is this teaching somebody? And then kind of you go down the rabbit hole of like, I also will think like, is this for the people who already subscribe to me? Like the vlogs are great for that. Well, or is this about finding a new audience? So like our Right Blogger channel, for example, we're doing like, you know, we're making videos for every tool we have. That's like kind of for our core audience. But then I made a video on how to humanize your content using AI. And for me, that was like, you know, a topic that people asked about. And it's not directly related to Right Blogger, but it's designed to draw people into our channel and into our ecosystem. And the same thing with my YouTube channel. It was like, you know, I could do a vlog of, oh, doing this silly thing around DC. And people who know me and watch me would enjoy that. But it's not going to give me a new audience. So it's like, oh, this new bar opened in DC, and like this is the title of it, and people in the area would get interested for that, or like this product review of a camera. That really would bring new people to the channel and kind of like expand the reach of the channel. So I do like to think about those two things before I even kind of jump into picking the topic, because if you know, for me, I'm always trying to think of growth. So it's like I want to think of something that's actually going to bring new people to the channel. I don't really want to like spin my wheels making that kind of community content all the time. Obviously, I love it. You know, I love creating, but I think that's a really important factor to kind of think about before you even jump into like the topic phase.
Yeah, I
And
feel like
the
you you do a really like good job of naturally understanding what someone's pain points are and how to structure a video that answers that question in an interesting way. Like that's a challenging thing.
Yeah, it's well, one big thing is like if you're thinking about making a video, if you get a question from like, you know, obviously we're so lucky we have so many great right blogger users here, and the questions you all send make it so easy to figure out topics. Like obviously if you have an audience, it can be pretty easy to figure out what you need to make and what you should make next and things like that. But you know, once you kind of have an idea of what you want to make, I always look at like the competing videos. So you really want to go to like incognito window, do a YouTube search, watch like the top 2 or 3 videos, and a lot of times you're gonna be like, I can do this better, and like more like concise, or like, because really what works in YouTube is the retention. So it's like the amount of time watch percentage over the video is kind of the core metric. So when you're editing, when you're like thinking about how you can present something, it's like any fluff, take it out. Like any amount of stuff like that is really like kind of the big move.
All right, so let's talk process now. So you've figured out. I don't know if you heard my phone ringing there, but we love a breaking do not disturb phone call during a live stream. Gotta love it. Um, now, when you're actually in the process of structuring a video, so you've chosen your topic, you've watched a couple of like things that have already done well on YouTube, you've figured out, the actual angle that you want to take for a particular topic. How do you proceed from here? Like you're basically, how do you take it from idea to like a structure of a video?
So I am fairly unstructured in a lot of what I do, but I will say that one big thing for me is my Canon R5 review. It's a new camera that came out probably 5 years ago or 6 years ago at this point. But I watch everyone's video, kind of like looked at their pros and cons, and I'm like, people aren't even talking about this feature or this things that I noticed from like the week of using it that I like. So I think it's about finding like the gap, like cover the stuff that other people are is good, the core things. But then I like will just make a notepad, like on your phone, you can just do notes, and I'll just do like a bulleted list, like things I noticed about this camera and like what I really want to make sure I like check these like 8 things off in the video. And the way I formatted the video was me actually shooting with the camera, like wearing a chest harness with a GoPro. So it's kind of like an exciting format, but I had like in my head like things I knew I wanted to talk about, because you really do want to like not go in completely blind. So like having kind of a checklist of like the data you want to convey in the video, I think is a big way to do that.
And I think what's really cool, you said a few things in there that are like actually really big and not maybe not as intuitive or natural for everyone. And so when you choose something like figuring out what you liked about the camera versus
Mhm.
just having chat tell you the 5 things that should be in the video about the camera, like this is seemingly subtle, but it's actually a really big deal because you're spending possibly hours before you've even gotten to the stage of making the video about this camera. You've spent hours playing with it yourself, like trying things, experimenting, understanding what you like about it, what you don't like about it. And so I think that's this like really subtle layer of experience and expertise at the subject matter you're creating your content about that you kind of just can't fake. And it so naturally like comes through on the videos you make. And so like what do you usually like to do? Like do you structure a process of like, all right, this half day I'm gonna spend playing with this camera or with this topic that I'm making a video about? Or is it all just kind of like more of a natural flow for you?
Well, I've never. Well, I guess it's more natural because it's something I pick up. I've had tons of Canon cameras. I have experience at that, so it's kind of just intuitive to me to pick up like these are the things that I'm noticing. Yeah, and I think anybody with any product or service or um, subscription or whatever you're trying to make a video about, it could be about anything. Of course, you're gonna have your own opinions and things, and that's I think it's just something you just need to naturally kind of um get into, basically. Like you just have to naturally feel like you're figuring out what you're making a video about. But I will say, watching the other videos, like
Yeah.
seeing what other people are doing, is I would say it's pretty fairly important, because I feel like I've definitely had topics where I'm like, oh, I wouldn't even like known to talk about this, while every other video is like, or this part of the product or whatever. So clearly to me, I'm like, that's interest. That's what people want to hear about, is this certain thing. But it's also really important, like you said, to be original. Like you really want to think how you can make your own spin on something. I'll give an example. I made everyone was making a photographer's guide to the iPhone 11 Pro. Oh, iPhone 11 Pro. You can just make like the photographer's review. And I really was interested. I believe it's the 11 Pro. I could be wrong, but I was really interested in the night mode when it was announced. So I'm really keyed in on product announcements, previews. So like, for my field, I'm really like keyed into everything that's happening. So that feature really interested me in the keynote. And then once I got the phone, I was like, I want to make a video just about the night mode. Like If no one knows what I'm talking about, on the iPhone at night when you take a photo, it like takes a longer exposure, so it kind of makes a night mode photo. But that video, even though the 11 Pro, iPhone 11 Pro stopped selling years ago, still was getting like tens of thousands of views every year, because I think people were just looking up night mode. Like, it's a great summary of night mode, and no other photographer or video that I saw was really focusing on that at the time. So, you can kind of figure out like a unique spin or something. Like you said, it's finding something that actually interests you about what you're doing.
Ooh, I love that. And then like when you choose a format like you mentioned for your Canon R5 video where you're wearing like a chest mount GoPro and you're like showing kind of the live action angle of what it's like to shoot with this camera, how did you choose that format? Was that something that was inspired from videos you researched?
Yeah, so I don't know if I saw anybody doing a review that way, but people were doing like long form videos that way, and I was like, this would make a great format for like a review because yeah, I don't want to see someone just sitting at a table talking about a camera. But let's get like a really epic scene and talk about what's actually happening here and actually put in the photos that I'm taking while it's all live happening. I will note that was all like a pain in the butt to edit because it's like you have to edit all the photos, you have to put it on top of the video. But that's really what makes the video really engaging. Um, it's really good like to see other formats and you might feel like you're copying somebody, but you will put your own spin on it. Like, for example, mine was like a review plus this format that I saw other people doing. So, never feel like you're copying someone unless you're copying their script or, obviously that's very serious to be doing that kind of thing. But, inspiration is really the collection of everything you're taking in and kind of putting out, like,
Yeah, I feel like also I always want to treat other content creators out there as collaborators, not competitors. Like there is so many opportunities to build relationships with other people who are making content in your space, other business owners, whatever they may be, and to view them as a competitor is often like it's kind of a subtle decision you make inside your own head. Usually it's not necessarily articulated very clearly, but you kind of can put someone aside as like someone that you won't reach out to, that you won't make friends with. Whereas in reality, and I know you're really good at this, Andy, you can make friends with other people that are creating content in the same niche. And maybe if you live in a similar area or if you travel somewhere, you have someone that you can actually get together with and make content with that you guys can publish on your channels together. You can publish on your social channels as well. And so, like, when it comes to collaborating with other people, like, what types of collaborations do you look for? I know it's been a while since you published on your main channel, but you have done a lot of collaborative videos. So I'm curious what that process looks like for you.
Ryan, you posted about having fun in your process, and that's kind of what gets you going or keeps you going. And that's really what it's about. Like my friend Angela in DC has a YouTube also, and yeah, it's really just about fun. It's like me going to the tidal basin and just talking about a product would just be boring. While like if we could have some kind of like riffs back and forth and talking and like it's just like that's a way more enjoyable experience, I think, for me filming, especially if you're in public. If you're someone who's trying to film in public, having a friend with you is way, way, way better because you're just not talking to your camera. It's a very difficult thing to do. But yeah, I think it's just about like fun and bringing it in. And um, I'll take it back to what you said about the competition too. I think it's really important to think about when you look up reviews for a product, you probably watch more than one review, and your algorithm turns into like, you know, the fridge I'm trying to buy. Like it's like your algorithm is just that. So like, even if someone's made a topic or like you view someone as a competitor, it doesn't matter. You can still bring in views from their video. Like if someone's video is doing extremely well about a topic, and you have a kind of like a side topic or something similarly related, YouTube will recommend that, and people are like willing to really watch more about a specific topic. And I think like my night mode video is a great example of that, because I bet people were watching iPhone 11 Pro photography stuff, and then I bet YouTube was like, check out this night mode thing and stuff like that. I think is really important to like think about how the actual viewer is experiencing your videos on YouTube.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really smart angle to it. And I think something else you mentioned that I think is a super underrated tactic too for building like really good relationships with other people in your space is give shout outs in your video to other creators. Like point out a specific video you liked from someone that inspired your video or inspired something you did on your channel or in your business. I think that's a really cool thing you do. Like, it costs you nothing to give praise to someone else who inspired you.
And it makes you like a tastemaker. Like if you are doing that a lot, like, oh, well, I watch Ryan's video because he's always like talking about these new cool things. Like I bet like the podcast that a lot of you listen to in the chat, are probably like that. You like watch the podcast to listen about other news and other information, not just what the person wants to talk about. I know that's for me at least. You know, I want to learn like what's happening externally, and like if you could be a maker in that sense, that's a really big thing.
We had a really good
Yeah.
question from Barb in the chat that I want to pull on screen right now. Here we go. Let me hit this one. Okay, so question for a brand new channel. This is going to you, Andy. Is it best to narrow down a niche right from the start, or better to just make a few videos to see what works best?
So I feel like there's like, you know, 100 different thoughts on this. Barb, like specifically though, I would figure out what you want to make videos about or the style. Like, so I wouldn't think too much about the like, you know, exact topics you're making. I don't know if you have a specific like topic you're trying to like get into, or you're trying to think of like a couple, but I would mainly try to make videos that you enjoy making and are about topics you like. And then yeah, once one kind of takes off, or you're kind of like, okay, like this took off, I can make more videos about this topic. I think it is better to like kind of narrow it down as you go. But I do think in a way, like kind of how YouTube and the internet in general is moving, it's okay to kind of jump topics and do like people, you know, the algorithm will serve what it wants to the people that are interested in X topic. So, um, you know, you could imagine if you had like a camera review video channel with like gardening, like it's going to serve the videos, in my opinion, to like who it serves. You know, but there is something to be said to not completely like isolate. Like if your videos were completely different, then that's kind of like a, you know, you don't want to like go down that rabbit hole. I'd say like if someone else was uploaded on your channel, but your channel isn't designed in that way. I don't know if that's really the best answer, but I think it's
Yeah.
just about finding what you love and what you want to actually make is kind of the core thing. And then you can narrow it down. Like my older videos are just me like doing stupid stuff around the house, like which I probably should delete, but it's kind of like that got me interested. And you know, and then I started kind of figuring out topics I want to actually cover.
Yeah, I like to think about this, Barb. I'll give you like maybe a slightly different answer from my perspective too. I like to think about the topics I choose for my channels as how do they connect to my business first and foremost, because my time is limited, and so when I'm making videos, they may not need to sell something, but I want them to be thematically connected to the topics that I work in, because they do serve a grander vision over the course of years, right? And so not every video needs to sell something. I think it's actually really important not to be selling in every single video that you're making, but to be teaching something that's actionable and useful to people, that's related to something that you enjoy and has some crossover with topics related to your business if you're here to make content that's in the education lane. And I think if you're in the entertainment lane, that opens up like a totally different world of possibility around just stuff that's funny and interesting and silly and shows your personality and that you enjoy talking about and doing things in. And so that's the different lane I'd say if you're in entertainment. But if you're in education and it's tied to some sort of product or service offering or a general, you know, theme that you want to build your personal brand around, then I would be thinking about real problems that people have that can somehow ladder up to your eventual business offering. And then within that whole bucket, you can have fun with choosing those topics. And so, real example on my channel would be something like I stick to topics that are related to marketing and SEO and blogging. Those are my real three major pillars, and I don't usually stray far from that. I occasionally will publish like more silly videos, but that's usually in the form of like a YouTube short or like something that can go on TikTok and Reels as well. And so I think if you're really focused on long form videos, like the stuff that's, a few minutes to up to a half an hour or even longer form content, then choosing topics that have some sort of search demand on YouTube is a really good foundational thing too. And as Andy said earlier with his example on like night photography for iPhones, sometimes the topics don't have search demand yet, but they're a topic that's new, it's emerging, it's related to something that just came out, a change in your industry. And so I think you can really do a good job of like making a splash on YouTube by publishing content related to happenings and new things that are emerging or changing in your niche. And I mean, today it seems like everything is always changing. So there's infinite opportunities.
And I will harp on what you just said. Like the topics you cover are blog. What'd you say? What did you say specifically? Marketing.
Marketing, SEO, and blogging.
Now, think about the first pillar there. Marketing is such a giant topic. Like, I think in general, you want to have a general guide of what you're making. You don't want to pigeonhole yourself. If Ryan was just making blogging videos, he would probably get burnt out. But I think that's a good
That's
distinction,
happened.
especially for Barb's question specifically. Because I don't know how narrow you're thinking, but I don't think it needs to be so narrow that you're like, I don't even know what to make next. But as long as your channel is following like a theme, like yeah.
It sounds like Barb's nailing this. I'll pull up her comment here. I'm sort of leaning into being the teaching techie AI nerd for small business owners who don't want to deal with the techie nerdy stuff themselves, which is awesome. Like that's a really good way to position yourself. Because Barb, I'm thinking that like these are fun things for you to talk about and show people too. And so if you're having fun teaching something to people who like are in the beginner stage with it and don't want to get too deep, that's a really nice positioning because you can teach the thing to people and then as they're watching their video, they can realize like, oh, this is a little more involved than I thought it was. Like I get how to do this process from this video, but maybe I should just hire someone like Barb, or maybe I should buy Barb's product, her service, her offering, and have her help me do it instead. And so that sort of framing and positioning, I really like. Like that has served us really, really well over the years. And even on my YouTube channel right now, if you want some examples of this in practice, I've published, I think, I don't know, 10 to 15 content reviews in a recent series that I've been doing on my channel where I go to different startup websites and I spend an hour or so breaking down what's working, what's not about their marketing efforts. And it's a really simple concept. It's something that I'm very familiar and experienced with. I enjoy doing it. It's really fun to me to like get into the nerdy weeds of like, ooh, what about, their marketing, their SEO strategy, their videos, are really clicking or not. And then I just give an honest breakdown of that. And I show kind of the behind the scenes of how I'm doing this analysis. And those videos have been starting to really hit. And even though most of those videos are only getting like organically a few hundred views, like we're throwing $20 in to sponsor some of them to increase the reach on some of those for my channel where they kind of like are seem to be hitting, and they're getting a couple thousand views as a result of putting $20 in paid promotion behind some of these videos. And even though these content reviews aren't getting tens of thousands of views, they're generating real like business conversations for us behind the scenes where companies are watching them and they're reaching out, they're sending me emails, they're sending me DMs asking for me to review their sites and to hire me to help with their marketing, to help with making their videos even. And so there's really cool things that can happen with just putting yourself out there and publishing content on YouTube. Even if you're not getting tens or hundreds of thousands of views, it can really fuel a cool like opportunity inside your business.
And I definitely think people should realize like 1,000 views is a lot in reality. Like the YouTube view system is like very highly regarded, I guess you could say. Like on TikTok, a view is like someone swiped and then kept going, like less than a second. So the views are like really modified on there on that platform. And we did get a good question here from Senior
Oh,
Tennis
yes.
Unpacked, which is what a great username and topic.
Yes.
Um, what's your take on using shorts for small, very niche channel to grow with a long form video once a week? So, I mean, I don't know what you think about short form, Ryan. I have not had much luck with it. I do think if I really wanted to spend time like going down the rabbit hole, I would learn to get really good on just shooting iPhone videos from the front camera, like the real person videos. I think those do the best on those kind of platforms. But for me, like I feel like I can make a YouTube video and package it and know it'll do well and people will watch it. Like I feel like it's like kind of a science in a way. While a short, I feel like I'm always like, I don't know what's gonna do well, what won't, and it's kind of hard for me to fully say on that. But I would recommend if you're making long form videos, try to make a short from it, and in YouTube you can actually kind of like connect those so people can open the long form video. And obviously YouTube they pay people less for YouTube Shorts views. That's just the reality of it. So YouTube is going to keep pushing those more and more and more. So I'm not going to be naive and not realize that's how it's going to go. But like 10,000 views on a real YouTube video versus Shorts is like exponentially more money. But you're also getting way more attention. Like so, if you're making a product review, I'm using reviews for all the examples here, but if you're making a product review on a short, people are probably just going to watch it and keep scrolling and then stop thinking about it. But if someone finds your video, your long form video, or searches it out, or gets it in their algorithm recommended, and they actually watch the whole thing, they're going to be like a very engaged person, and they'll convert to whatever you're trying to do next. Or if you have other videos, or it kind of depends on your main goal. But obviously, a long form YouTube video is going to serve you ad revenue, and it's going to have you have a really focused viewer who's going to probably do an action next after your video.
Yeah, I'll just give my spin on this one too, because I think this is a really good question. Long form videos are like the way to, I think, in my experience, build a longer term audience for your channel. It long form I always think of as education. Short form I think of as entertainment. Now, there are people who are actual masters at the craft of blending the two together, but for me, I've probably published 50 to 100 short form videos in the last few years myself, and out of those 50 to 100, one of them's gotten 500,000 views. Like one of them went kind of viral, actually on LinkedIn, which is super interesting, not on YouTube. But what's crazy about that to me is like I look at these videos, I compare them, the short form that went super viral versus the ones that maybe got 1,000 views, 2,000 views instead, and I kind of couldn't tell you what was different about the one that went viral versus the ones that didn't. And so I think sometimes it's just a numbers game. Shorts in particular are like crazy numbers game. If you're going to invest in a short form video strategy, you need to take that mindset of publishing one a day, doing it more casually without having a super produced setup all the time. I think that's sort of how you like set yourself up for success with short form, and then just putting in those reps, making 100 of them over the course of a few months. Like that will teach you so much about what hits with your audience. And I liked the cadence you mentioned too of like publishing one long form video a week as well. That's a nice balance. I like that as like an experiment. See how the long form ones hit. Maybe you spend a little more time on the production and the editing of those ones too, and then you're dropping some short form videos out there just to kind of see what hits on that side as well, with a little bit more of the like entertainment weaved into the short form videos.
Yeah, that makes sense. And
Yeah.
and to go back to what you said, that video you referenced, I mean, it was on LinkedIn, but you could probably was there any like business benefit from that, or like anybody connected? Was there any at all? Or I'm actually genuinely curious.
Yeah, like it started conversations with people. Like I got a bunch of DMs about it. I don't think that it resulted in any like, new customers or new clients, because the topic of the video, like it was me like sitting on a chair, and I was like just kind of like talking about like how difficult it is to navigate big life changes. Like it was I think part of why it did well on LinkedIn, if I had to guess, is that it was like a little bit of pattern disruption. Like on most people's LinkedIn feeds, there's so much content about business and the industry that they're in, and they're just seeing videos from people talking about the stuff in their space. And this video was a little bit more about like navigating big life and career changes and like how to be kind to yourself as you're going through, the thick of it in a big life change. And so I think it like the theme of it, the tone was like it was like very calm and like peaceful, and there was like kind of meditative music to it. So I think it was a little bit pattern disruption,
That makes
if I had
sense.
to
But
guess. But I haven't
well,
been
it's
able
kind
to
of like
replicate that.
well, I was gonna kind of harp on the your video with 1,000 views is like building you a business, while a video with hundreds of thousands of views is not really doing anything for you. And I think that's the big thing, is like the intent of the video, the focus when people are watching something.
Yeah.
Is something to think about. And it really depends on your goals. I mean, it is very tempting to just post on social media for likes and views and not actually
Right.
getting anything for yourself. Like you think like, if I'm a famous YouTuber or TikToker or whatever, I'll be rich. Or you really need to think about like your business goals behind it, because if
Mhm.
you're just like suddenly famous for some reason, there's not really like a business part that's actually going to benefit you in that way. So it is really important, I think, to think about your content, like why you're doing this. Obviously, like there's a fun component. Obviously, making content online, in my opinion, is very fun. But I definitely think people should like think about that. Like, is this suiting me for what I'm trying to actually get out of this?
Yeah. I now know that I can publish 2 videos a week on my channel, and if they get 1,000 views, that's great because they are like generating high quality leads for our marketing agency where we help people related to the topics that my video covers and teaches and highlights and shows kind of the behind the scenes machine. And so that supports a real business. Whereas if I were just to be chasing, how do I make views that get 500,000, or how do I make videos that get 500,000 views every single time, but they're not connected to some sort of business goal, then it's like, well, okay, I'm just chasing vanity metrics at the end of the day.
And it'll tear you up inside when the algorithm shifts to not your favor or something like that. And it really, if you don't have like an actual long-term goal after that, it kind of is like a rough mental thing to go through.
Yeah. That's why I always recommend starting with what your business is, like what your offering is, and then kind of like backing into more of the topics and having fun within the topics, but making sure that there is at least some sort of connection to what it is you're offering. Unless you're just doing it for pure fun and enjoyment of the craft. Like that's a cool thing too. Like that keeps me engaged for the long haul too, is making silly videos, even if they just get sent around to friends and they're not published online somewhere. But we got another really good question here in the chat that Andy, I want you to take here. How do you feel about the YouTube feature of posts? Do you use it for engagement?
Yes, it is a good feature to use, especially if you have a big YouTube audience. I mean, like I said, I haven't posted in a year, but that was a great kind of like, you really want to stay connected to your audience, and that is a really good feature to use. If you're actively uploading on YouTube, you would definitely like once a week probably want to be like adding a post about. I mean, it could literally be like working on my next video, selfie with your setup, or
Yeah.
kind of whatever, just whatever's going on, and make your community really feel connected to you. And for me, at least, that makes it like more fun too, because it is very making content is very isolating and lonely in reality for a lot of people. Luckily, I have Ryan to make videos with, so that is a great thing. But you can see how like that could become very difficult. So I think, in my opinion, it kind of helps with that, because like I remember I shared like, oh, I got 15,000 subscribers on there, and kind of like shared those milestones, and it was like it would get like 10 likes, but it's still exciting that like, wow, people are like still getting my posts and engage with me in that way. And I think that's a really fun way to do that. Plus, you can share links and images and kind of do different things on the platform than you can on just a traditional video.
A lot of the people that I talk with who are like trying video marketing for the first time, they're relatively new to making video content. The advice that I always give is like commit to making your first 100 videos. Just start there. And so in that in that first 100 video stage, what types of like advice would you give to someone who's relatively new to content creation to get started? Like what's the like most important thing to be considering in the early days?
I would think about, as you're making videos, the main goal is just to get better at talking on camera. Like that's, you really have to be like, that video wasn't great, but that's okay because I'm going to keep pushing myself and I'm going to keep going. Like even if you don't have a plan to actually get better at it, if you're making videos and putting in the reps, you are going to just naturally get better at it. It's very hard advice because you can't really tangibly see results while it's happening. But I know for, obviously I know for everybody that has made videos, and for me, that's just how it works. You have to really put in the reps, understand like video settings, editing, pacing, talking, what am I doing in the video? Like how am I framing it? Like those are things you're just gonna slowly over time pick up, especially if you're watching other YouTubers and kind of like saying, "Oh, I see how they did this in this video, this shot," or I understand why they did this. Like a funny little tidbit is like Casey Neistat, a popular YouTuber. He wears sunglasses in all his videos. It's kind of his iconic thing. But in a video, he revealed, I do this so I can look at the screen on my camera while I'm shooting. So like I'm not actually looking at the camera, I'm looking at the screen. And I think that, that's something that like he probably spent years kind of intuitively being like, oh, I can do it like this. And that's made a brand for him. But I think little things like that though are just things you're gonna have to pick up, for your workflow and what you're making. And you're kind of like, oh, my audience doesn't like when I talk about X, but they like this. And I really think that's the important thing to think about.
I like that a lot too. I want to pull up a good question we got in the chat here too from Steve. Do I need an offer before I start up my YouTube channel again? My blog is just promoting affiliate products right now.
So Steve, anybody who doesn't know Steve, he has a site called String Shock, which is like a guitar site. I think your topic fits perfectly in with the site you have, and um, I think even if it's not about a video or about a product you're selling, it's still like connected to your general branding, like of making music, and I think also like you have such a fun like topic to cover. It's like video is like an essential part, I'd say, to audio and things like that. So I don't think yeah, I think it's just important to start. It's, and like Ryan just said, you have to make 100 videos to actually get good, and then kind of understand like, oh, now I understand what I'm doing, or like I understand how this works. Because it is really easy to get discouraged, make like a couple of videos and then upload them and go, I don't really see the point in this. But that's why I think it's really good to focus on the fact that like I'm getting a skill here. I'm learning how to talk on camera. I'm like improving day by day of what's happening here. It's just hard to really see that, and it's very easy to miss that and like feel like you're not progressing. And I think that's a really kind of the biggest thing you have to remember while you're creating.
I completely agree. And Steve, some of the best, I would say, career and life advice I was ever given by someone who's so insightful was especially when you're starting something new. You're going outside your comfort zone. You're feeling the imposter syndrome stuff. Like it brings up a lot inside, usually. And for most people, when they're starting to make videos. And so focus on the activity goal. Don't even care about the analytics. Like, who cares if your video gets 2 views, 10 views, 100? Like, do the activity goal of making those first 100 videos, challenge yourself to do it. And the person you are on the other side of making 100 videos will be different. You will be more experienced. You will have more confidence. You will have worked out things like camera quality, lighting, audio quality, format, structure. Like, you will just be a different person on the other side of making those 100 videos. And that is the real point of doing 100 videos as our challenge to you, let's call it. Because I know you can do this. You have the skill, you have the experience at your craft already to where you can just pick up the guitar and play and maybe take some breaks and talk about what you're doing and technique and all the things that are going to be interesting to someone who's new and a beginner at learning guitar. And that is your path to figuring out how to monetize your business as well. Publishing 100 videos. You'll be able to look back and see, oh, these are the ones that, got a couple hundred views. These are the ones that got 1,000 views. And so you can double down on particular like topics and niche little focus areas after you've gone through that activity of publishing a solid chunk of content. And so the real homework assignment for you is get those 100 videos going. And it doesn't matter. Like, don't obsess over the details of the topic. If you're making 100 videos, there's going to be some topics that don't hit, but there's going to be some that will. So don't worry so much about it. I think so much to do with video marketing is getting out of your own head and just putting in the reps, those activity goals.
And I also see a lot of people give up because they feel like, well, someone's better, someone knows more, someone has a better camera. Like those things, I know it's really easy to kind of fall in those traps, but I see that as like the biggest thing people stop themselves from creating. Yes, they're like for me, yes. Are there people who know more about photography? Of course. Are there people who know less? Yes. So like I am someone who can teach something and I have the ability to do it. Why wouldn't I do that? And even if you're starting out at something, you have the ability to, even if your videos are you talking about you learning something for 10 minutes, someone might find that really engaging. And we, especially because we live in such an isolating time, people are looking for like that connection, even if it's like, oh, I just throw on this video in the background, I just listen like what they're talking about, like I like this topic and I just want to hear, even if they're not like focused in that regard. I think it's really important to like think about those kind of things, like you're really just building a connection with someone through the screen.
Yeah, and we got a few more good questions in the chat that I'll bring up here too. Do you actively answer comments or questions on your videos? This is really, really good source material for content. Andy, is this something that you like to
Yes,
do?
I try to reply to every comment. You should at least like, or like, you can love it. I love every comment basically, but I would, if you're able to reply to comments, definitely. I mean, the videos that I made years ago still get comments and I still will reply if someone offers a question. And I think the big thing, I assume YouTube pulls something like they must have an algorithm that knows like the questions because there's like rich data in there that if you're answering something important, it's can be like really useful to somebody. Um, for example, I had someone, I forget the exact question, but it was like, a year or two since I uploaded the video and it was about a camera. And I'm like, oh, here's the reply. And they're like, oh, wow. I didn't know you'd reply right away about this. But I think it's a great way to like engage your community, especially if you have the ability to. And you definitely want to encourage comments. Like that's a big part about having a YouTube channel. And it it fires you up too. And on YouTube, I think you can do the thing where you can bring a comment in and like reply, like actually to the comment. So for some communities, that's a really great option.
It also like really increases the depth of your connection and relationship with your audience too. So someone that you reply to a comment about, like that's often going to be a pretty memorable experience for someone, especially as your channel grows and you're having more attention, more activity, more engagement, and that personal touch. Like it just matters so much. And oftentimes I'll get questions in the comments of my videos that inspire new ideas for other separate videos to make too. So that stuff is a gold mine of activity. I want to pull some more questions up. We got some really good ones here. Matt
But
asks, "Do you guys make videos for other companies?" Yes, we do. This is something that we have a lot of fun doing now, since we've really like dialed in our publishing process with our marketing agency arm to everything we do here. We are now like approaching this stage where more and more companies are hiring us to help them with producing their own videos, either in house or like hiring us to be the actual creators that make stuff and teach, as long as it's a topic related to something that we have experience with ourselves too. So if that is something that any of y'all watching are interested in getting our help with, just shoot me an email anytime to ryan@rightblogger.com. Oh, we have some more. Wow, y'all have really good questions. This is awesome. Okay, so Andy, I'm going to pull up this one. Tell us about how affiliate marketing works. I have an atheist skeptic channel, and the niche is tough. I'm
yeah,
monetized, but not making much.
that is, yeah. I also definitely want to point out monetization is not like really an end goal. You're not really going to make that much unless you're getting like big views. If you upload and get 100,000 views every 3 days, you're going to probably do pretty well, at least a livable wage. But the that's a great question. I would probably think of like merch that you can make. That's probably like what I think about. But in terms of affiliate marketing, I don't know if that question was a kind of like a broad overview of affiliate marketing, but basically, companies like Amazon, they want people to link to their site, and they do that via a like a tracking code. So you basically link to Amazon with a specific URL, and you get a percentage of the sale. But for your niche, I don't know. You know, there's probably products related, but I just that is a tough one. Uh, but if you have an audience, you really got to think about their pain points and why they're watching. Like, you know, for yours, it might be more of like a identity. So like that's why I kind of think of merch and stuff as something that kind
That's
of
where
fits
my
there. You
mind
could,
went first too. Like I think really
yeah.
swaggy merch where people feel, connected to how you talk about the subject matters and they want to rep your t-shirts, your hats, your hoodies, whatever they are that look cool and also have a message that they personally resonate with. That's where my mind goes first.
And there's some really easy like drop shipping ways to do that now pretty cheaply, or even like, you know, when someone orders, you get like couple bucks or whatever. Obviously, that's not like a huge revenue source. I would definitely look at your competitors and see if they're talking about specific products and things, and you could reach out to those companies too. Kind of hard to really figure out a exact monetization
Yeah.
path for that topic. But if you
I would
have
look at
views, you can
how
eventually figure it out.
Yeah. And look at how other creators in the space, like there's got to be channels that have like massive numbers of subscribers in this particular niche. And so I would go do your homework on how it appears from the outside at least that they're monetizing their business too. I think I always love looking at people who are a few years ahead of me in whatever it is I'm doing and understanding like the machinery behind their business so that I can kind of reverse engineer the things that I like about it.
That makes sense. You
We
want to
got
bring up some
another
of the other
question.
questions?
Yeah, yeah. I'll pull this one up here. Do you have any tips on reusing other people's content? What are the best ways to give credit to the video creator?
I don't know if I fully like
Yeah.
re-uploading someone's video, or maybe you're thinking of kind of like a what's it called, daily dose of the internet channel. I will note, if you look up of course the term is escaping me, fair use. Like if you're using someone else's work and you're adding commentary and transforming it with your commentary, that is considered fair use, and you can do that. But definitely always think about how someone how you feel you'd be treated, basically. Like if someone just took your video and uploaded it with your name with no other things, would you feel okay with that? Like that is against YouTube's terms of service, and they have a great dashboard now for people. Like if someone took one of my videos and uploaded it, I have a way as a creator to actually like remove that, which is crazy to think about now. But I would definitely at least like, you always want to credit creators, and you want to think about how you can transform someone else's clip, and actually like do it that way.
We got another question from them that I like too. What are your thoughts on AI videos because YouTube has been shutting down large amounts of channels as a result of it?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people are just trying to get quick money, and by uploading a lot or whatever. There's obviously like some really crazy stuff you can do with AI and video. Um, I would guess that it's channels that are uploading in crazy bulk fashion. I'm not sure though, but I think most users want to see content actually made by a real person, and that's why YouTube's kind of clamping down on that, or trying to figure out the best path forward. Obviously, in my opinion, it's going to be harder and harder to actually detect that type of stuff. So probably like the main mechanism they use is like bulk uploading. I would guess is like their mechanism. So like, to me, if you're not actually interested in making videos and you only want to do like automated way of doing it, it might not be like, to me, that like that just doesn't feel right to me. Like the fun is being on camera and doing those aspects. So that's kind of how I feel about that.
Yeah, I think also like the AI video, we're in this really interesting stage right now where it's brand new, it's exciting, it's interesting, it's a novelty. I think where we'll get with it is that it'll fall into line as becoming a tool in the toolkit for video marketing to where using AI to make something like B-roll that like works inside of a greater clip where you're already doing something that's interesting to you is how I eventually see it going. I think right now you're seeing some AI videos go viral mostly because of the novelty factor. Like, oh, this was made with AI is part of the reason why a video goes viral versus like with real video content, things go viral because they're educational, because they're entertaining, because it really hits. And so I think all this stuff will like find its normalcy soon. And we got such a good question. So we're coming towards the end of our session here today. Now is the time to drop into the chat. If you have any last minute questions, please drop them in now. I'm going to answer Dina's question. We got this up. Andy, I want you to take this one. But Dina, thank you for being here. Dina, I've known you forever. I'm interested in how to approach companies so that I can create videos or produce videos for them and or do more UGC for their channels. Are your clients mainly from your own networks?
I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, I guess this one is a little more pertinent to what I'm doing now. Um, I would say right now I'm pretty much 50-50 to where I have clients that I already know, I have established relationships with, even if they haven't paid me for something, I've had some sort of positive interaction with them over the years. And so there is something to be said for like planting your feet on the ground in your niche. And Dina, I know you've been doing calligraphy style content for many, many years. And so you do already have a brand in your niche. And so for what you're doing, I would imagine you already know a lot of the right people or brands. And if not, then you know people that know them, right? And so I would say working the connections, the referrals, the word of mouth, posting on your channels, like posting a video that talks directly about how you want to take on more clients and showcasing, examples of what you're doing in the background as you're talking about it could be a really fun, cool angle. For some reason, I envision shorts doing really well for like, I'm hired by companies for their events to make beautiful calligraphy projects and like, the background is you making your thing, showing what it is you do. And so I could see you making some cool content that directly goes after that niche of, hey, I want clients in this particular space. And then the other side of it too is more of that organic reach to where you publish content on a particular topic, you brand yourself as the thought leader or, a very strong artist in the space. And then that creates kind of the organic pull too. So I think doing the two simultaneously is a really nice approach. And that, I believe, is going to do it for our stream today. So, Andy, thank you for being our interview subject for today. This was a fun one. Anything you'd like to add before we wrap up for this morning?
We didn't even talk like with like super tactical things like in terms of like making successful YouTube videos. So I think we should definitely do this again or something. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I hope everybody really test themselves. It is really a grind, like it is a hard grind, and you have to like really be like, I'm okay if a video doesn't do well. I'm okay if a video does, and you'll realize that eventually at one point you can't control it. So it's really about having fun and enjoying the process.
Beautiful. Focus on the activity goals, have fun, and we'll see you on the next stream we do. Thank you all for joining. We appreciate you.